Welcome to the Service MVP podcast, and my name is Joe Crisara. And today we are featuring two of my very best friends and colleagues that I have known for years. And we have Helmi, Flah, and Joe Rivera from Guaranteed Services. Welcome to our show, guys. Welcome, Helmi, and welcome, Joe.
Thank you, Joe, for having us. It's a pleasure to be with the America's Coach.
Thank you so much, Joe. We love you.
Well, thank you guys so much for being here. We have a long history that goes back quite a few years. I first met Helmi when he was the service director over at the company that Mike Aguilera used to own at Gold Medal, right? And that was the name of the company.
Yeah, I was the general manager there. Yeah.
He was the general manager over there, and he was always helping to teach our program back there, and it was definitely an honor. When I first met him, I knew I had a friend for life. Helmi, why don't you start by just telling us a little bit about the background, about how you got started doing this kind of a thing, and how you wound up where you're at right now.
Yeah, well, you're right. It's been almost 20 years, Joe. The first time we met was in 2005. Right? I was a general manager of a company. We used doing less than $1 million a year, and kept in contact till 2018 with you. And we finished up that year with over $33 million. And we decided in 2018 that I decided to go on my own and started doing zero technicians, zero calls, zero employees. My first call was to my friend Joe Crisara for help. Fast forward 5 years later, we finished up this year with $17 million and going for 25 next year.
$25 million. So we're trying to go at $25 million in 6 years. That's the pace we're looking at here?
Yeah, 100%. There is no doubt. 100%. I always tell people the goal is $365 million a year by December 31st, 2029.
1 million a day.
1 million a day, baby.
Well, you know what? You probably have the guy to your right over there, right? Who's literally the right-hand man. It'd be hard to do it without him. It'd be hard to do it without him, wouldn't it? Joe, tell me, what's this ride been like for you?
Oh, it's been amazing. Not only having you as a great coach, but Helmi has been my, life coach. And we believe in, being a window and on a door, and believing in the process and giving people all possibilities. So it's been a great ride.
Let's go over that, Joe. Let's say, so today we're going to cover the three things that are responsible for growing a service business. Makes sense? How do you grow a service business from a startup? A lot of people who grow a business, or people who've been in business for 100 years, haven't made it to even 17 million, much less have a growth pattern from there. So tell us the three keys to growing a business. Start with you, Joe, since you're the guy on the ground doing the grinding it out more. I'm not saying Helmi doesn't do the work too, but I know that you're doing more of the grind out there every day. Joe, could you tell us, what's the first key, do you think, to growing a service business, if you don't mind?
First key to growing a service business is to care about the customer. I believe the first thing is, if you don't care and you don't fully love the customer and want to see the right thing being done for them, then nothing else is going to be executed right. So that would be the number one thing.
Well, Joe, it's interesting. A lot of people say care for the customer, but they have a different version of that. Like you probably met people who came in to your company and said, yeah, I care for the customer by saving them money or something like that. How would you define caring for the customer? Because a lot of people think, well, just try to do the job as cheap as possible. That's how you care for the customer. Tell us a little bit about what your version of caring for the customer. How would you define that a little more clearly, if you don't mind?
My version for caring for the customer is permanent solutions, something that they don't have to worry about for the next 10 years or the next 12 years. Not just putting a Band-Aid on it and having to call companies or your company and spending money every single year on today's repairs, future repairs, and not really getting anything for it, but more grief. So we want to see our customers be customers for life and just, know that they're in good hands and let the worry be on us.
Yeah, I mean, you got to do good enough service so that if you're going to make 17 or 25 million, I see behind you got that window that goes right out to your street that you don't want to have. You don't want to have a customer at that window knocking on the window saying he's not happy, right? How important is it that not only do we have to have that revenue, but also make sure that the customer got value. What do you think about that, Joe? Tell me about that.
It's super important. It's super important that the customer gets everything that they paid for, all the benefits, all the value. And, what that does is creates a good, it creates a good relationship because that customer will be a customer with you for a long time and be able to refer you to friends, family, neighbors. If they don't feel that, then that's not going to happen. We're in a relationship and a connecting business. That's what we're looking to do.
Right. Well, one thing I noticed about all the people that are helping me is all the guys at Guaranteed Services that I've met, they really believe in the brand in a way. Does that make sense? Like there's, because here I always have a saying. I said sales begins with the person who's offering something. They have to believe in it. Does that make sense, Helmi? Helmi,
100%.
how do you build that kind of a culture where everybody believes in what Guaranteed Services is doing? Could you comment on that a little bit? And thank you, Joe. It's great comments. I appreciate that.
We don't cheat, we don't steal, we don't lie. That's number one. We always say the truth, no matter what the truth is. That's the only way we do it. And we always say, to do business in any job or to do any job, 3 wins has to happen. Customer has to win, the employee has to win, and the company has to win. Right. So when they see the value of that, we're not a home run here. Right. We love our people. We love our customers, and they believe in it. They really, truly believe in it. And our culture here is fantastic. Everybody is having fun. And in the end of the day, everybody wins.
Yeah. I think when you always notice that teams that are winning have a lot more fun. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? It's hard to have fun when you're not winning. Does that make sense, guys?
It is absolutely fun to work here. Honestly, it is fun to work here. We have vacations together. We celebrate stuff together. Rent houseboats.
Yeah, houseboats. We go out to the Poconos and the hills together. We try to have a really good time at what we do. And I think that's what relates to the homeowner also. They know that if, the technicians are having a good time, the company's having a good time, and making sure it's done right, then it's just going to create a great product.
Yeah. And you can check Google reviews to thousands of 5-star reviews.
That's awesome. I think that speaks volumes, and I think I think from what I see, that's the best advertisement is a happy employee who believes in the company and believes in the value the customer gets, right? Now, what would you say number 2? I think you mentioned before something about the process. Helmi, you want to give us a little bit of thoughts on that about having a process and how important that is? Could you share that with us?
Absolutely, 100%. It's like having a playbook in a football team. You need to know what are you doing. Right? You need to know in advance. You don't make it as you go. So we have a process for everything. I mean, when we say for everything, including the cleaning lady has a process. All right. Yeah. And you just follow it and makes the things very, very simple. We have scripts to say when we answer the phone. We have scripts to say when we go to people's houses. We have process how to handle paperwork here in the office. And in order to succeed, you have to have a process. First of all, you have to have the love of your guys that are working here, right? They say, if you earn their hearts, they give you their hands. All right. So that's the philosophy we work with. And then we have a process how to do things. Like when we bring in a new employee, we just show them the playbook. We call it the playbook. Right? When you show him the playbook, he knows exactly what to do. He knows how to follow the training stuff, how to follow service MVP coaching, where to go. I mean, really, for every single move, there is a process, there is a playbook for.
Well, I'll bet. I mean, Joe probably could speak to this. He's the guy who's training the process. He's like the main trainer over there.
He's the implementation guy.
He is. He's the guy who makes it happen, right?
He's the guy who makes it happen.
You kind of create we kind of create the playbook, and Joe's like, okay, let me take that playbook and let's execute that playbook. Joe, what's it like when you show people the playbook? there's got to be some times where it's kind of a defining moment, right? Some people are like, "Wow, this is the best. You guys got this all mapped out. This is amazing. It's so much better." And there's other people who are like, "Oh my God, what are you doing? Babysitting me or what?" Like, you ever had that, Joe? You can notice that like instantly whether this is going to be a good fit or not. Even it all looked good until you show them the process. Tell us a little bit about that, Joe. What's that like? For most of the employees, I probably would suppose it's good because they wouldn't get to that point unless they were. Tell us a little bit about that, Joe.
So for most of the employees, it's a sigh of relief. Because when you have it mapped out and when you have an accurate game plan, you could execute that game plan. It takes the worry away. The technician is coming in, their company, they want to know that, the plays work and all they have to do is stick to the process. When there is no process and, you're kind of, brainstorming as you go, that never makes for anything good. So
Well,
I would say more just a sigh of relief. Definitely. They know that we got to figure it out. All they have to do is our process and they're going to win.
yeah, when you got the right person, it is like, oh, thank God I'm home. I found the place where I feel like I'm home here, right? It's very interesting. By the way, did forget to mention everybody here that this company, Guaranteed Service, is in New Jersey, which if anybody doesn't know this, like if I had to pick probably the worst place to start a business, it'd probably be New Jersey. The most challenging environment I could possibly have would be right there in New Jersey. I mean, although it doesn't seem to stop you, I still see those. All the employees are smiling, and you guys are having a great day all the time. It seems like I've never seen any doubt that you guys were going to be successful. What's it like? How would you respond to people who say, you can't do well with the government and the city and the states and all that kind of, because there's a lot of, it's difficult to operate a business there. Even just the traffic in New Jersey is tough to do. Tell me a little bit about that, guys.
It's just the white noise, man. You don't need to hear it. You don't need to concentrate on it. You need to focus at what's going to move the needle. That will never move the needle. That will put you backwards.
We focus on what you can do.
Yep.
There, you just focus on things you can focus on. Yeah. Let's go over the third element. So getting the right process. How about implementing it? Tell them about that. What's that? How does that take place? So, I mean, people say, well, how do you get your guys to do all this stuff? That's one of the hardest things to get people to do. You got these strong-minded guys from New Jersey who think they're pretty smart, the wise guys from New Jersey, right? You got the heart of Tony Soprano and everybody over there, right? How do you guys get these guys to do what you want them to do instead of doing what they want to do? Go ahead there, Joe.
First of all, they have to believe in it. Have to really believe deep in the inside. They have to believe it, right? And then you get the guys that they don't believe in it the first time, the second time, the third time, fourth time, and you just keep going. You just keep going. Don't give up, right? And you just keep going. And then at one point they believe in it, and then they will say, "Wow, I told you, Joe, years and years ago, you changed my life, all right?" And then the first time I remember, I sat down watching in the total immersion system, and I'm like, "Why I'm here?" Right. And after a couple of weeks, I could not wait to just join that training session. Right. And honestly, it really you changed my life. Right. And I'm grateful for it as well. But you have to believe in it. You really have to believe in the process. Once you believe in the process, it becomes natural to you. It becomes really natural. And it makes the implementation very easier, a lot easier when you are excited to come into the training, right? Then it makes it like, I mean, we got guys, Joe, they show up like 30 minutes before the training and they coaching each other, right? Before Tanya jumps in, right? They already like coaching and they're doing role playing with each other. They believe in it. They love it.
Implement, I think, is even strong word, they're following it and they're doing it willingly. And because they believe in it. I took total immersion in 2013. So everything that we've taught here has been at the core total immersion. And they believed in it since then. So when we rolled out the new total immersion, the advanced course, they couldn't wait to get to it. They couldn't wait. It was the updated version. It was 2.0. And they couldn't wait. I couldn't wait.
Let me tell you something, Joe. Since 2005, I never hired somebody that did not go through your training system. Zero.
Wow.
Every single person it went through your training system since 2005. We never had anybody in the road with us.
60 videos, 67 videos
Yeah, that's
over
what it used to be.
3 days. Cram it.
Yeah, that's the old school. But service MVP now is a lot different.
Well, good. I hope. Well, tell me this: when you're growing a company like you guys are growing, and you start to see new results, because as you're growing, like before 17 million, it was less, and now it's 17 million, and now it's going to be more. As you're growing like that, tell us about some of the greatest challenges first that you go through that people can expect to go through as they're growing. And what are some of the greatest victories? Let's start with the greatest challenges, and then we'll go on to the victories. And either one of you can respond to that. What are some of the greatest challenges
So
that you're going to run
the biggest challenge when we started is, you're new in the business, and you obviously want to hire the best of the best, and the best of the best. They always think of, are you going to keep me busy? You just started. All right. So the biggest challenge was attract talent people. Right. And then once the first person, second, third, and then, and the team grows. All right. And the team that started bringing other team members to the game. So we honestly, we don't have any hiring ads. Right. Yeah. Most of the new hires that come in from the guys that work with us, they bring them in because, like you said, you saw them, everybody's smiling, everybody having. That was the biggest challenge for me, is bringing very good talented people when you are new to the business, because people, they don't believe in you yet.
Would you say that you're looking at talent that you have to build, Helmi, in this regard as you're growing the company, or is it talent that's already finished product when you get them?
No, talent that we have to, we grow from the inside. All right. We teach from the inside. We have our process. We have our training. I like to have somebody that really doesn't have any training. It's sometimes it's hard to teach an old trick.
It's better with a blank slate.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
But you need to have the talent of that good personality. It looks good. Talk good, clean person. All right, that's the challenges is to, that we went through.
And going back to what I said earlier is finding somebody that cares. Listen, we could teach everything, but I can't teach care. Either you, genuinely love people or you don't, and it's very hard to teach that. So that's what we look for.
I've seen a lot of plumbers who are like, hey, my job is just to do plumbing. I'm not here to talk to people. I'm just, so you really have to care for people and care about the process you're following, right? Does that make sense, guys?
We're servants first.
Let's end on a good note, though. What are some of what do you guys high five or you fist bump on a weekly basis? Tell us, what are some of those highlights that make you guys smile and laugh and have a great time? What are some of the things that happen that on a weekly basis that people can expect from the good part of it, not just the challenge there?
We just had a meeting like an hour ago. Our January of 2023 compared to January of this year, we're up by 39%.
Yep.
That's the one that give us high fives to everybody, and then we'll look around and we survey all of the employees. We got like 4.8 out of 5 of employees.
Happiness.
So that's what makes us really feel good. Numbers up, morale up, all right, and people that love to come to work, and that's what we really celebrate in the end of the day.
Yeah, I think so many times people focus on financial growth, but what I'm hearing from you guys, really the whole theme of this call, has been focused on the personal growth of your people. Does that make sense? Joe,
everything else, it follows, right? If you have a great morale and you're doing good by the customer and you're having a good time doing it and make sure you do strong work, the money follows. You turn around and you say, oh, wow, we did that much. Great. That's the fist bump, right? It's the reward.
Hmm. Well, they always say a good podcast starts on time, but a great one ends on time. I'm not sure if it's going to make it a great one because I think we're going a little bit over time, but I just wanted to say thanks to both of you for coming on today. What final words of encouragement would you give to the service nation that's out there about people who are seeking to grow their businesses? Anybody want to go ahead and just chime in, or Joe, both of you can do it. Tell me, what do you think? What are your final words?
Secret sauce, love your people, or earn their hearts. They give you their hands and they work for you forever. To create a process to the business. Every single step has to have a process. Create a great implementation and follow with training all the time. Never stop training. You always stop. You always do training and hold people accountable. They hold me to have their payroll check in the end of the week, right?
Right. That's good. Good. Is that important? Is that important that they could, because you allow people to hold you accountable too, right, Helmi? That's what I've seen so far.
Everybody held me accountable. It starts by the top, accountability.
There you go.
And then, so when you train someone and you give him the process, you implement the process, make sure he knows how to do it, you train him, you have to hold them accountable to it. If you don't have a process, you don't have implementation, and you don't have training, there is no accountability and there is no success.
Joe, what do you think? Any final thoughts here?
I would say, it doesn't happen overnight, practice. We're blessed to be able to, go out on 5, 6, 7 calls a day sometimes and be with a lot of different types of homeowners and personalities. So the more you practice, the more you stay in the game, the better you get. But it definitely doesn't happen overnight. It takes a little bit of time. But when it gets there and it clicks, you're a beast.
Well, one thing I can tell you is my life improved 1,000% the day I met both of you. Thank you for being here on this show. I really appreciate both of you guys. And thanks for, I thought I was going to meet just clients, but I wound up having two of my very best friends. So thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you. Good luck to you.